You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Happy to be here.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute. Thank you for joining us.
Where's Jeff?
Where's Jeff? I don't know.
Jeff,
he's off being a senior fellow somewhere.
He is. I think he's in the think tank, or is that the stink tank? I'm not sure. It's one of the two.
One of the
two. Either way.
It's a stink tank after he
What
leaves.
is that? Would you give me an explanation what you said?
Never mind, Doc. You don't want to know.
It's all gone to HE double hockey sticks in a handbag. Anyway, for those of you that suffer with agonizing spine pain, you don't need to. If you've tried conservative treatments and they haven't worked, you can seek out true patient pain resolve with the Bonati spine procedures. They're patented and exclusive to the Bonati Spine Institute. You don't have to live on pain medications. If people keep trying to mask your pain and telling you take more and more of these pills, you don't need to do it. A majority of the time, unless there's been some severing of the spinal cord, they can pretty much work on you. And they're procedures that are done while you're awake. So you have that communication with the surgeons during the operation. You can watch. And quite honestly, sometimes you can even bring a loved one into the operating room right with you to hold your hand and make you feel more comfortable. We talk to patients all the time, and we have 98.75% patient-reported success. So that's not us just saying we performed a successful surgery. It's straight from the patient's mouths. With that said, we have an exciting program. We'll have Bailey Rhodes in studio with us talking about her book, Code Gray.
It's actually an organization. It's a group called Code Gray. She's a young lady who just graduated high school here locally in Tampa. She's been called a hometown hero.
Yes.
She's got a really cool story about surviving cancer in a group called Code Gray that she established.
Yes. And then Michael Loftus, comedian, going to talk about election coverage. This should be interesting. And then, of course, I think we're going to hear more about Barack's crock. But up first,
in today's Back to Life segment, we will talk to a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute who went from living a life that was restricted by pain and discomfort through their journey of finding the Bonati Spine Institute and are now living pain-free.
It is my pleasure to introduce to the program Dr. Martin Marcus of Florida. Thank you so much for joining us. You were on at the end of 2013 to talk about a procedure you had nearly a decade ago. And you came back to Dr. Bonati to target some new areas. So can you tell us how this next injury occurred? Was it degenerative in nature, or were you in an accident?
It's funny. They were almost exactly 10 days to the month apart, the surgery.
Right.
And the first one was from a work-related injury.
Okay.
This second one was just wear and tear. I'm 64 years old, and I had a lot of what they call spinal stenosis.
Okay.
It's an overgrowth of bone where there should be a hole called a foramen that the nerve actually exits.
Okay.
And also the spinal canal itself was reduced in size because of the stenosis. So this time, instead of just doing the disc like Dr. Bonati did in my first surgeries, he had to remove a lot of bone.
Got it.
Did what's called a laminectomy, a foraminotomy, and a discectomy. So it was a pretty big procedure, and it was done in 2 sessions. Prior to the surgery, it felt like someone had hit me under my buttock with a baseball bat.
Right.
And I had pain, tingling, and numbness going down both legs. It got to the point to where it affected my activities of daily living, and I had to do something about it. And I had such great success after the first surgeries. They were at a different level, mind you, that I called and made an appointment to see Dr. Bonati
Okay.
to get his evaluation. Sure enough, I needed another spine surgery. And what was interesting, he did MRIs, and the MRI from the area that was operated on 10 years ago was still perfectly intact and looked good.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the surgery, and I only missed 5 days of work.
Right.
Now I have a patient that had the same areas operated on, but he did traditional surgery,
Mm-hmm.
where they did a 5-inch, 5.5-inch incision up
Okay.
his back. They removed the same things that Dr. Bonatti removed on me,
Mm-hmm.
only they put hardware in this gentleman.
Ooh.
They put plates and screws and rods, and he's not only a patient of mine, he's also a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
He called me and asked me how I was doing because he knew it was around the time of my surgery.
Sure.
And I said, well, I'm back at work. It was 5 days later.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you're kidding me. And I said, no. Now, mind you, he had his surgery 4 weeks before I did.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, damn, I'm still using a walker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I never used a walker.
So just to paraphrase, you had surgery 4 weeks after your friend who went through traditional surgery. He was using a walker, and 5 days after your Bonatti spine procedures, you're already back at work.
Correct.
So there's the difference, people. Traditional spine surgery keeps you down for a long time, and Dr. Bonatti's exclusive patented precision procedures got you back to work within 5 days.
That's right. He had a 5.5-inch incision.
Right.
It had to be closed with staples.
Ooh.
My incision was a little more than a half inch,
Mm-hmm.
and the sutures were internal.
Right.
The external part was closed with a butterfly bandage.
Sure.
And that was about 5 weeks ago now. And you really can't even see the incision hardly. It looked like I might have had a mole removed.
Right.
It's amazing.
So,
And it's funny, you caught me. I was going to come into the studio and do this live, but I'm right now driving my wife back from Dr. Bonatti.
okay.
She had surgery yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Very successful, by the way. And this morning we went up for her epidural steroid injection,
Right.
and she's doing quite well.
Yeah, that helps with inflammation and everything. Talk about the actual surgery itself. While you were on the table, did you watch your own surgery, Martin?
I absolutely watched the own surgery. It's pretty fascinating, especially from my point of view, because I know the anatomy.
Right.
I know what's being done.
Yeah, I was going to say, Doctor, from a chiropractor's perspective, knowing the anatomy, as you said, and all of that has got to be interesting because you're not a surgeon per se, but you're still a doctor. So
Correct.
to actually see the procedure being done must have been pretty cool.
No, but I've cut many a cadaver, and I know the anatomy quite well.
Yes.
And it was just so odd to watch Dr. Bonatti use these instruments and cut out quite a bit of bone.
Right.
And, some of it you feel, not in a bad way.
Right.
There's a little pain involved, but not much.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an important part of the surgery because he moves things around to ask you what you're feeling, and he wants you to reply either your back or your leg.
Right.
And then he removes a little more until you're telling him there's no more pain.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, when everything has been cut away that was causing the pain, he'll say, okay, what are you feeling?
Sure.
When I said, I feel nothing, he said, great. And they closed me up. He said, now get off my table and walk to recovery.
Walk on out of here.
That's great.
Luckily, he's got a big nurse named John who's about 6'5",
Yes.
and he helps you walk to recovery. But really, I could have done it on my own.
Wow.
And, just
I
30-some years of me being in this business and watching patients suffer through conventional surgery, and most of them did go on a walker for a while.
Sure.
When he first said, get off my table and walk to recovery, he talked to me because we're all friends.
Yeah.
Anyway, but, I was just, okay. But it was no problem.
I have to ask, did you have that sort of discussion with your friend that had gone through traditional spine surgery? Because I'm curious to know if they were awake on the table and they were interactive with their surgeon, helping to pinpoint that true root cause of the pain.
He was unconscious for the whole thing.
Right.
And I think my surgery was even shorter than his. But irregardless, he was unconscious for the whole thing.
Right.
I liked the fact that I was a part of the surgery because I knew before I got off that table that my pain was gone.
Right. Well, Dr. Bonati is in studio. If there's anything that you want to say, I know that you guys are old friends and you've been through the procedure, like you said, about a decade ago.
Now Doc's going to say, get off the phone while you're driving. That's what he's going to tell him.
Well, what I would like to say is thank you very much. My second surgery was just as big a success as the first one. And I also like to thank you for the wonderful job you did on my wife yesterday.
So that's what I was trying to ask you. I didn't see her this morning on the post-op, but I hope she's doing okay because we need to do one more procedure.
Yeah, Dr. Wolf saw her, and then we went in and had the epidural with Dr. Hirschauer, and she's doing well. She's sleeping, actually, next to me.
Aww.
Okay, good.
Oh, well, then she must be doing good.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay, Martin, I'll see you sometime next week.
And I have
Absolutely.
I have to add, when you're back on the slopes and you're doing all the fun stuff, send us video. We love the pictures, but send us video too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll get Julie to do that. She's
All right.
the whiz for that kind of stuff.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your back to life story.
Hey, Martin,
with
Martin,
us.
hey, Martin, her headache is gone?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Perfect.
That was another thing. She suffered from migraines. We weren't expecting that to resolve, but it did.
All right.
See, that's fantastic.
Okay.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks,
Thank
Doc.
you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That's just a testament to the type of things that can be fixed and helped with the Bonati spine procedures.
That was like a 2-for-1 story.
It
We got to hear
was.
about
It's
his
great.
wife. We got to hear about him.
I can't wait till we finally get her on to really hear her experience, because it's different when you're the one that's suffering from them, but we all know it affects your friends and family members too. If you're suffering just like Martin did, with just agonizing pain, you don't need to. Reach out to Bonati at 855-267-0483 or visit Bonati.com. Coming up after the break, well, what are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk to Bailey Rhodes, who is a local girl who is a two-time cancer survivor. Came up with an organization called Code Gray to help other cancer patients.
Yeah, to be their own best advocates.
That's right.
We'll catch you on the flip side of the break. You're listening to American Medicine Today. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free. which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
I am Kimberly Brumell, and thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm with Ethan Euchre.
Always a pleasure to be here.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati, reading up on his notes.
Hello.
He's actually checking out our guest's journal over here. He is.
We have a journal. I'm going to put it up in front of me. It's called Code Gray. And joining us in studio is the maker of that, Bailey Rhodes, a young lady who survived cancer not only once but twice, and even had a first-hand experience with what the medical field calls a near miss. In response, she created an organization called Code Gray, which helps others avoid medical errors in diagnosis. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I actually saw our friends at our local here in Tampa, Fox affiliate, did a Hometown Hero segment on Bailey, and I was like, that's a great story. We have to get her in. You know, you just graduated high school, correct?
Yes.
And you're off to UF in the fall?
Yep, go Gators.
She wants to get into medicine. Really great story. So start from the beginning. Tell us about your battles with cancer and what the whole ordeal was like.
The summer before my freshman year of high school, I was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which is bone cancer. I started treatment the first week of school. I think it was only there for maybe 3 days. And then 6 months of treatment, chemotherapy, no radiation, luckily.
Right. Yeah.
And then I had my surgery about 6 months in. I had full knee replacement and tibia limb salvage. And then 7 more months of treatment.
And this was freshman year, so you were
Freshman
what,
year.
13, 14?
14,
how
yep.
scary.
Wow.
It was rough. And then I finally came back to school my sophomore year, and everything was copacetic for about a year. I was in remission. And then I started noticing some abnormal bruising. So we went to the doctor, and then it turns out I had secondary leukemia. So I got cancer from one of the chemotherapies I was treated with for the other cancer.
Oh, man.
2 and 3% chance, and go figure.
Right.
That's insane.
So I had a full bone marrow transplant and chemotherapy treatment, and I was on house arrest for about a year, isolation.
Wow.
I just can't
Couldn't go
imagine
anywhere.
being that young and having already you're dealing with just growing up and being a teenager and high school, and then to get hit with bad luck like that.
Yeah, twice.
2 times. How did you keep your sanity?
I really focused on my schoolwork. I've always taken pride in my schoolwork and how well I do academically, and I didn't want a sickness to, make that any worse than it already was. So I had a goal. I wanted to go to UF. I wanted to graduate on time with all of my friends like I was supposed to. So I worked really hard and kept up with everything and graduated on time. Took Spanish over the phone, pre-calculus over the phone, chemistry online,
That's
physics
incredible.
online.
Wow, such inner strength.
Yeah. Well,
What can you explain what a near miss is?
A near miss is basically when something was going to go wrong and last minute someone caught it.
Got it. Okay.
So let's say, for example, I'm allergic to this certain medicine called Neupogen, which is like a white blood cell booster.
Okay.
And it was in my chart that I'm not supposed to have it, but I guess the nurse didn't see that, and she was going to give it to me again. And as she was putting it on the pump, my dad was like, wait, is that Neupogen? Take that off. So, like, that's a near miss.
So had your dad not jumped in,
I would have gone into anaphylactic shock again.
Oh.
so obviously, I mean, everybody's human.
Right.
It's
Right, and
they're
it
going to make
happens.
mistakes. They're going to
Yes.
make errors. But you showed us before we got started here. Your mother had a journal going on through. I'm guessing both battles that you had with
Yes.
with cancer.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that and how it led to you once you finally beat cancer for the second time, deciding to organize this Code Gray.
I've always been a very strong personality. I've never been afraid to speak my mind no matter how old I am. I mean, you could be a 50-year-old man and I was going to tell you if I thought something was wrong. But not a lot of kids are like that. And, it was surprising my first time around to see how many kids are in the hospital alone because their parents, can't be there, they're at work or anything like that.
Right.
And, I always thought, man, there's no one looking out for them. And they're not, and some of them aren't old enough to look out for themselves either. So my mom always kept a journal of, because in oncology patients, you have to get blood tests done every morning. And it keeps track of all your ANC levels, your white count number, anything like that. So she kept track of everything to be able to pass on the information to my dad when he came in. And, just to, again, make sure there were no mistakes again, which there still were, but, there's only so much you can do. So when I got done with my last treatment, I decided, we need to come up with something to help people learn how to advocate for themselves. A lot of the time you don't think you can say anything because, I'm not the one with the medical degree. What do I know?
Sure.
But you're the one who knows the most about your care because you live through it every day.
Well, I think it's interesting that you, and I was reading in your bio because I didn't know what the phrase came from. Code Gray is hospital talk for an unruly patient,
Yes.
correct? And you were considered an unruly patient because you were asking a lot of questions, and they were probably like, who is this 14-year-old girl? Why is she asking
questioning?
us
Yeah.
questions and blah, blah, blah. So that's what led to coming up with the group, and tell us a little bit about the notebooks and who you've given them to, how they've helped, things like that.
The notebooks are just so that patients can have one spot where they can keep track of everything. So there's a section for medications that you're on, your dosage, possible side effects, physician notes. So when the doctor comes in, if you want to keep track, write down something they mentioned, you can keep it there. Lab test results, a food diary. A lot of oncology patients have to keep track of their diet because they tend to lose weight. There's a journal section, a section where you can write down the questions you want to remember to ask the doctor.
Right.
And a section for upcoming appointments, so like a calendar.
Yeah.
And then I hope to one day put in a section where the ideas of what to keep track of, what to have questions for, what kind of questions to ask, that kind of thing.
This is so important. I was starting to tell you off the air because my grandfather was very, very ill. And my grandmother was ill as well. And sometimes they were being told by their doctors to never question them, and if they tried something else because something that they were prescribed was having an adverse effect, they were being told, well, I'm going to stop treating you, or wow, you've done really well, what are you doing, wait a minute, I don't want to know, and because you've questioned them. So this is so important to teach everyone that is experiencing that they can be their own advocate, and they should be.
Absolutely.
I think what you developed is really great. But my question is, you had osteosarcoma where, in the femur or in the tibia?
Tibia.
The tibia. So they replaced the whole tibia?
Yes.
I'm telling you because in 1993, I am the first physician in the world who developed a prosthesis that we call from How Medica, that we call the custom-made prosthesis. That's what you have. And I remember that the person had a tumor that was a malignant giant cell tumor on the femur. And I looked and I said, if we can replace the hip and we can put the tube all the way down and replace the knee and then we can save the life of this guy. And that's what they did to you. So it seems to be that when we did that one, they sent engineers and all the things to the hospital. We developed the prosthesis and we put the femur and the total knee, total hip replacement, total knee replacement, and we put the whole femur. And the guy, around maybe 20 years after I saw him, and he was walking in the mall, and he said, "Remember me?" And I said, "Man, And then he said, "You put a prosthesis on my whole leg." So it's amazing to see something like that happens in the results that you have. It's just incredible, because osteosarcoma is a deadly disease.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
It's a truly inspiring story for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
What else do you have on the horizon? Are you looking to do anything else with this?
She wants to go to med school eventually, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the plan?
Mm-hmm.
Possibly specialize in pediatric oncology.
Nice. Okay.
I feel, my experience could make me a really good asset to other kids in the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I would like to, if we get to the point where we can do it, I think it'd be really neat to have an app for Code Gray, since, maybe kids would be more willing to, check it out if it's on an app. Kids love technology nowadays.
Yes, they do. They're like, what is this paper stuff? I don't even know what this is anymore.
And maybe have reliable resources on there. A lot of time, if you get diagnosed with something, the first thing people want to do nowadays is look it up on Google. But there's so many sites that you can't trust. Like, I still, to this day, have never looked up leukemia and have never looked up osteosarcoma because I don't want to know the statistics. I don't care. I'm my own statistic.
That's right.
So if I could have reliable resources to where they can find information about it, that's not going to be hindering to, their state of mind or anything like that.
All right.
Wow. Well, you are an amazing girl. And thank you so much for sharing what you've done with Code Gray. Bailey Rhodes survived cancer not only once, but twice.
You have a Facebook page too, right, where people can learn more?
Yes. If you can't find it under Code Gray, you can find my Facebook account, Bailey Rhodes, and it's under my pages. But you can request a book on there. We've sent a couple to, I think, one to Arkansas, one to New Hampshire, I believe.
Very cool.
And they're free.
Nice.
So.
Well, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come join us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Bailey.
Well, you're listening to American Medicine Today. Make sure that you stay tuned, because coming up after the break, we're going to have a comedian. I mean,
I don't think we've ever had a comic on the show.
Oh, maybe one other time.
A couple times.
I think.
We've had funny people.
Talking about election coverage. I mean, that never gets old, and we can all imagine the jokes. So make sure you stay tuned. You're listening to American Medicine Today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonatti Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonatti spine procedures, Alfred Bonatti, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonatti and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thanks for listening to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Happy to be here.
Senior Fellow Jeff Wagstaff.
Hey, Kimberly, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonatti of the Bonatti Spine Institute.
Hello.
Have you noticed how one-sided the news coverage of this election has been? It seems the mainstream media focuses on Trump's alleged controversies while ignoring Hillary's scandals. Joining us to discuss is Michael Loftus, veteran stand-up comedian who has worked as a TV writer for many years on TV shows like FX Anger Management with Charlie Sheen.
Great show.
And ABC's The George Lopez Show. Thank you for being with us, Michael.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's a little crazy right now. I'm working on yet another show.
Really?
I'm working on my TV show, and it's insane. But this is the favorite part of my day, when I get to meet new people and talk about the mainstream media and their fascination with everything Trump.
Yeah, you I saw an interesting article with a statistic that, I guess it was like a media study that they did where Trump's coverage of his alleged controversies were covered 4 times more than any of the Hillary scandals. So, I mean, that's ridiculous. Why such a bias, you think?
Because the mainstream media, and this is horrible to say, but they've got it out for the guy. They have got to demonize him.
Right.
If you look at facts, and if you look at history, and if you look at Hillary Clinton's inability to get anything done ever, she won't get elected. So they just have to destroy Donald Trump's character.
Right.
Well, it's hysterical.
But his character, if you really talk to the people that are closest to him, he is the nicest, most down-to-earth, helpful guy, will roll up his sleeves and jump in where needed to help. Hillary Clinton talks the talk. Unfortunately, she doesn't walk the walk.
Well, and the funny thing, too, and you can attest to this, Michael, is that I saw another thing the other day where Hillary hasn't done an actual press conference in front of the press in almost a year, because she doesn't want to have to answer questions. She's not good on the spot. She can't ad lib, and she's got so many skeletons in her closet that she can't deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, she's a pretty good candidate.
Robot. Other than that, she's perfect.
Yeah,
she's
awesome.
what America wants.
Yes. With friends like her, who needs enemies?
She's been in there for 30 years. She's been doing this for 30 years. And now all of a sudden she has a good idea? Like really? If she had any kind of clue as to solving a problem, don't you think she would have told her friend, I don't know, the president?
Right, exactly. No, she was just waiting for him to finish his turn. Yeah.
And the press does these crazy things, like they were like the Hillary tweet that Donald Trump's camp set out that had the 6-sided star, right?
Right.
Which everybody go, that's racist. And okay, how is it racist?
Yes.
Or how is it racist? And they go, it's on a pile of money. So it's funny to watch these people become racists themselves.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
By pointing it out.
Jews and money. Oh, so you're the one who's going to tell me about Jews and money and how Donald Trump is a racist.
Exactly.
They're making that connection.
You wouldn't draw the parallel, no matter how long you stared at that.
Try not to.
Oh, and then the best, and this was on Morning Joe the other day. Donald Trump goes, hey, the Disney sticker book about the movie Frozen, that's on store shelves, and let's take a look at the cover of the Disney sticker book. It's got a giant 6-sided star on it. And he's like, so is Disney racist?
Right.
And they're like, and then they're like, he goes on this bizarre rant about Disney. This bizarre, it was completely bizarre when he was calling you out on your one-sided hypocritical crap.
Right.
It was fantastic.
That's like you, man.
I knew you would like him, Doc. That's why I booked him.
Well, I'm just wondering how they let the trail of dead people that were associated with Clinton's go. I don't think Trump has anything like that in his past.
Oh, and that's why, like, no, he doesn't. He really doesn't. And if anything, he has compelling ice rink stories.
Yes.
That's all he needs to do. For the rest of the campaign, if I was him, I would just show the latest video with the FBI director Comey going, she lied, she lied, she lied. And then you juxtapose that with her actually lying. Right. And then you let Donald Trump tell the New York ice skating rink story.
Oh, yeah.
Where the state and the city of New York had spent hundreds of millions of dollars in this ginormous boondoggle that didn't even work. And then how Donald Trump came in and for like $50 built a state-of-the-art ice rink.
Yeah, under budget.
Right through all the red tape. It's beautiful.
Yep. He finished under budget and ahead of time, from what I remember. And the other thing I would like Trump to do is invite the mothers of the Benghazi soldiers that were killed, line them up in the front, and let them start asking questions.
Or just punch her in the face repeatedly.
I know. I know.
And then I tell you, it's horrible to watch. And here's the thing, you guys. Like, Donald Trump wasn't even my guy. I'm a Republican, but my guy got beat, right? My guy got beat.
Sure.
So now I'm like, okay, it's going to be Hillary or my good friend DT Donald Trump.
Yes.
So, and he's not hard to support. No. They get these guys like on MSNBC, and they're like, how can you support Donald Trump? And they all fold. They all fold like deck chairs. It just like there needs to be a big meeting, and it's too funny. I was actually telling this to Michael Steele, the former head of the Republican Party. Yeah, I was name dropping. I was hanging out with him last weekend.
Better pick that one up.
You guys need to steer into the curve.
Right.
So like, well, Donald Trump said this about a Muslim ban. You go, yeah, he did.
Right.
And that's a great topic. Let's talk about that right now.
Right. And
where are the problems? You say yes and.
It's true. And time again, we're seeing ISIS killing people left and right. Every single place you go,
but it's not radical.
Right. It's not
Islam.
Radical Islam. No. Shame.
That's
shame on him for mentioning that.
Shame.
No,
Yeah, because radical Islam doesn't rear its ugly head and try to take over the world every 400 years.
No,
the History Channel has literally done shows on this. Every 400 years, that section of the globe blows up with some radicalized form of Islam. Here's the big difference. Once again, it's been 400 years since the last time, and here we go again. We have planes now. We have planes, and they can carry their message faster.
Sure. But ISIS has an uprising, but law-abiding citizens should no longer be able to have guns.
Oh, that's hysterical, too.
Yes.
Like right when Dylan Roof goes into that church in Carolina, and that was just horrible. But they have a picture of that kid on Facebook, and there's a Confederate flag behind him, and they're like, well, this is much bigger. This is much bigger than one lone gunman. This is about symbols. And this is about an ideology, and we have to start ripping down historical statues from the Civil War because this is huge.
Right.
And then some guy goes into a gay nightclub and kills 50 innocent people, and they're like, that's just one guy.
Yeah, it's a lone wolf.
We should probably take your guns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Michael, I have a tremendous problem on my mind. Why these people are like that? What they want, because they're not dumb. Why they do this needs to be a lot of benefits on their actions to be able to hang to that type of a waste and that type of a destroying America type of a concept.
Are we talking about ISIS or the Democrats?
I really think that's what it is. I really think that's what it is. It's like you have and it's not just Trump, it's on the right too.
Yeah.
Like Donald Trump is the only guy in the entire field who is not a lifelong politician.
Yes.
Yeah.
All these people, all they do is make money off of politics and bloated bureaucracies.
And
but my question is, what's going on with the country?
Yeah.
Why are so blind? That 50% of the country is blind, uneducated, irresponsible, taker without really producing anything. Why
Okay, I think that's an awesome question, and it's one that I think about a lot.
Uh-huh.
I think it's because we don't teach basic civics anymore in
You're
school.
right.
All the left.
I think
all the
I
left
think
are
that
teaching.
kids, in our public schools, most people don't understand that the federal government is based on the money that we give them. They think the federal government is just some endless supply of money that never runs out. And you're like, hey, idiots, it's our money. We all are paying for this.
Right.
And I think most people just don't make that connection.
What gets me is you have people like Ayers teaching classes at the university. How? How could he possibly, a known terrorist, become a teacher teaching the youth?
Right.
You know what really kills me also is these people that they are being called immigrants and illegal groups. They come to this country with one concept: is I want to perform better in life, and they run to be a Democrat. I'm telling you, this is so stupid, because the only thing that they become is slaves again of the same type of product that they were trying to escape.
Right.
Yes. And I tell you what, those my friends who are the most like diehard, like conservatives and Republicans are the people who've come here from like former communist countries. Yeah. They're like, wow. We ran screaming away from this lifestyle once, and now your country is like hell bent on becoming it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really.
But here's the deal, and this is where my little TV show comes into play. There are the media is, and this is going to sound total conspiracy theory, but like mainstream media is just dominated with Democrats and liberals, and they can't help it but pushing their agenda. Yeah. And so me and my buddies started a comedy show to make fun of Democrats. Just it's just good. It's not hate speech. We're just telling jokes, and Hillary is on the butt end of them.
I have to. Can I ask you a question? Do you have maybe 10 more minutes of time where we could bring you into another segment?
You bet.
Okay.
Always for you guys. You're my bestest friends.
All right.
Great. We're going to wrap up this segment, but make sure you stay tuned, because coming up later in the show, we will again talk with Michael Loftus, veteran stand-up comedian who has worked as a TV writer for many years on shows like FX Anger Management. Make sure you stay tuned.
Stick around, Michael.
You're listening to American Medicine Today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonatti Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonatti spine procedures, Alfred Bonatti, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonatti and your host, Kimberly Bermel.
Thanks for listening to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Bermel, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Happy to be here.
We have our friend and attorney, Sam Heller of Heller Goldberg, and we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonatti of the Bonatti Spine Institute. Now
it's time to see what Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi, President Obama, and the Democrats have simmering in Washington, D.C. Let's see what's cooking in Barack's crock.
well, we bring out the big magnifying glass, and we need you two to discuss what has been simmering for all these years in this pretty cruddy administration. What are they doing to us now?
Oh, my God, 4 more months.
The clock is ticking, Doc.
Can't wait.
That's the only good thing.
Yeah.
But really, we wanted to continue the conversation we were having
With
previously with Sam about insurance, regulation, how it's all affecting medicine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having me back.
Of course.
The talks never get old. Last time, I think we were talking about how they were narrowing networks and not providing proper treatment and care.
Yeah, so I think last time we were talking about how, there's this movement by the insurance companies to try to, in order obviously to make profits for themselves, kind of cram more responsibility on the patients in terms of payment and take away the doctor's ability and independence to practice and the decision-making process between the doctor and the patient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. But it amazed me something. If the insurance company will look at advances in medicine, and they will look at things that they can replace the old techniques and the old treatments, they can save so much money.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And if you look at what you do, for example, there is, and I don't know how far insurance companies have analyzed these things, but you always talk about how with traditional open surgery and traditional open procedures, the costs not only with the surgical costs that are so much more expensive from the insurance company's standpoint, but the long-term care and the rehabilitation and the pain management and all those things.
And the medication, and then associated medical practice, because when you start to have somebody who has pain and doesn't recover well, not only you need to use physical therapy, but then you need to use some psychiatric care, you need to use some antidepressant medication, some muscle relaxants, and some you lost your work, then you have problems with your family, then all these situations create some sort of a cost.
Right, and I think the problem is that the technology and the practice advances a lot more than the research and the studies that the insurance companies rely upon do. And so they have these antiquated models that are again designed to increase revenues and increase profits that are based on old technology. And it's kind of the old thing of the round peg in the square hole. It just doesn't fix, and so it just doesn't fit. And so people like yourself who are developing these technologies and are advancing the practice, they can't pick up on it. And whether that's by the fact that they don't know or by choice, it's a difficult situation.
If you look, for example, we practically developed the idea of an ambulatory center to practice medicine in an ambulatory center. In the 1980s, I practically moved my practice from a hospital to an ambulatory center. People look at me, oh, this is crazy. You cannot do that. the people will have pain and you will not have any resources to treat them. And that is practically the opposite.
And when did you move into ambulatory surgery
In
center?
1985.
You know, it's interesting when you said that. I just thought about the fact that you started performing spine surgery in an ambulatory surgical center. For people that don't know, that means a hospital without beds. Yeah. But in 1985, it was just in 2013 that the traditional governing board of medicine and the ones that promulgate standard fee schedules recognized spine surgery being done in an ambulatory surgical center.
That many decades later.
Yeah. So Doc was like 25 years ahead of the curve.
And he still is.
30 years.
And he is still ahead of that curve. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is that you need to, if you really look at the expenses, if you practice these procedures in a hospital, it's going to cost you 70% more expensive. And if you do this in an ambulatory center, it's incredible and expensive. So,
not to mention better for the patient.
Yes.
Well, not only is it inexpensive because the fact that you don't need to use beds, so you don't need to use general anesthesia, you don't need to use pain management, you don't need to use physical therapy, you don't need to use drugs. I mean, it's an amazing recovery. It's amazing to see. I mean, I'm telling you, I practice this procedure, and every single day I go, how in the hell this happened? And it's because it's just common sense. The common sense of medicine is being lost today. And when I see people that they are individuals extremely well trained, that they come from great medical schools, and then they go, we need to go and open the patient in the front, we need to go and do the laminectomy in the front, then we need to do a disc replacement in the front, then we need to turn the patient, and we do a laminectomy on the back, and we will put the screws and plates and stabilize. That makes me understand that these people don't really understand the physiopathology and the biomechanics of the spine. And that is so amazing, but at the same time, it's so expensive.
Well, it certainly is. This is a conversation we could have for quite some time, but thank you, Sam Heller of Heller Goldberg. Thank you for coming in and discussing the ongoing insurance problems that we are just wrought with throughout the country.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Make sure that you check us out on Bloomberg both Saturdays and Sundays. Check your local listings, WFTS here in Tampa, as well as KTNV for you folks out in Las Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
Big shout out. Make sure you like us on Facebook and tweet at Bonatti, at Dr. Bonatti, using hashtag American Medicine Today or hashtag AMT. That's about it. Make sure, if you're an affiliate, make sure you stay tuned because we have more for you. But we say bye-bye right now to our flagship station, News Radio 970, WFLA.
See you, Tampa.
Bye-bye.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.